Welcome to the Cohn Zone. I'm one half of the zone. I'm Grant. My dad's not here. Hopefully, he'll be back next week for the Cohn Zone. I want to give you a low Cohn update before I get into what I want to talk about, and I'll take a couple questions. So, my dad thought he had sciatica. He ain't got no sciatica. Some calcified thing in his back that was supporting some type of disc chipped off and is embedded in a nerve, as an MRI showed. So he's been in serious pain for 2.5 weeks, just laying on the ground. Today, I'm taking him in for a pre-op. Tomorrow, he's having surgery. So he's at the finish line. That's what you need to know about my dad. He's going to be fine. He's going to be just cool. And I'm hoping he'll be back on the show with me next week. So fingers crossed that it'll be Cohn Pere Feast, Cohn the Elder, Cohn the Younger, together again next week. He's going to be fine. All right. Let's talk about the two big newses of the day, Darnold and Russell Wilson, because this stuff is so good. And then I'll take some questions. So there's now been two reports that the Niners are really interested in Sam Darnold. Jason LeCanfer reported it, and John Clayton now reports it, that among the teams who are interested in trading for Sam Darnold are the 49ers. And my mind goes to the conspiracy theory right away because I just don't take these teams at face value. And there's so many times where we've heard the Niners are interested. You know, they're interested in Matthew Stafford. They're interested in Khalil Mack. They're interested in Odell Beckham Jr. It always seems like they're the poker player who's calling bets, increasing the size of the pot, and then folding, making it more expensive for everyone else. So what I thought is Kyle Shanahan helping Robert Saleh drive up the price for Sam Darnold? Any of these teams that are trying to unload a quarterback who has failed to live up to expectations needs a market for the guy. It can't just be one team that wants to trade for him. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything good. So you have to create the perception that there are 3, 4, 5 teams interested for your guy. That's what the Lions ended up doing. And it would be interesting. I just feel like if I were Robert Saleh, I would call Kyle and say, hey, man, I'm trying to get rid of Darnold. As you know, we've talked about this, how we feel about Sam. I'm trying to trade him. I'm not getting that many bites. Would you mind if I told some reporter off the record that it's starting to look like the Niners might be interested, and I know Kyle loves him? Would you mind if I told that fib? And I'm just guessing. I have no idea. It just seems like something I would do. And Kyle would say, sure, I don't care. I mean, it's just going to be some guy's anonymous report. I can deny it. It doesn't reflect on either of us. It'll help you trade him. Anytime a report says I like a guy, that guy's stock goes through the roof because people think I know what I'm talking about with quarterbacks when I have no clue. Robert, you and I know I have no clue. So yeah, tell him I like him. It seems to me it suits both of their. It definitely helps Saleh, and it's no skin off Kyle Shanahan's nose for some anonymous report that he doesn't put his name behind, says he really likes Sam Darnold. So that's about as much stock as I put into this. I feel like this is another example of the 49ers expressing, interest through a source, a third party, getting fans' hopes up or not. I mean, it's Sam Darnold. And then not getting the guy. And then they can just chalk it up to helping Robert Saleh. So don't worry that the Niners are going to all of a sudden trade a first-round pick or a second-round pick or 2 2s for Sam Darnold because Kyle Shanahan has decided he loves him like he loved Kirk Cousins. I don't think that's what's going on here. To me, this is 2 guys reporting something. Clayton LeCanfer, not Rappaport, who's very embedded in the Niners, not Adam Schefter, who's the number 1 guy. 2 of the tier 2 guys. And I wonder who is feeding this information and whose agenda does it serve. The Niners are interested in Sam Darnold, huh? Well, that sure helps the Jets. I'm pretty sure the Niners aren't going to get Sam Darnold. But maybe this helps the Jets get a first-round pick for him, a late one, an early 2. Maybe teams think the Niners are considering giving that up. And if Robert Saleh and Kyle Shanahan are tight like that and can pull this off, then good for them. Good for them. So let's move on to another topic with Darnold. Is there any offer the Niners should make for Sam Darnold? I think there is one offer the Niners can make. I wouldn't offer any draft picks for Sam Darnold. I wouldn't even offer a fourth for him. I don't think it's necessary. Why would you want to give up picks for some guy that the Jets don't want, who has failed? And you have your own guy in Josh Rosen, who 6'1", half dozen the other. I don't see the difference. Their style of play is different. Their results are pretty much the same. Okay, so what is the trade for Sam Darnold if there is one? I think I figured it out. I'm going to see if anyone in the comment section can figure it out before I blurt it out. What is the one trade the 49ers should offer for Sam Darnold? The only thing. The only trade. Does anyone know? Yes. Boom. Someone got it. Jimmy for Darnold straight up. I think I would actually be cool with that because I'm okay with cutting Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's contract cannot be on the books in a month from now. If they lose free agents because they're paying Jimmy Garoppolo $27 million, that's a shame. How many better players than Jimmy are going to leave because Jimmy's still on the team? Last year it was Buckner and Sanders. This year it could be who? Trent Williams, because you can't afford him. It could be Jason Verrett. Both guys are better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So I would cut Jimmy. You guys, I've talked to you guys about that. If better than cutting Jimmy would be trading him for anything, a 6th-round pick, anything with value, well, trade him for Sam Darnold. He's cheaper. He plays quarterback. You don't have to commit to him. It's just another way to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not like you're bringing in Sam Darnold because you like him. You're bringing him because it's an asset. You could trade him midseason. You could flip him down the line. It could be like house flipping. That's all I'm saying. If the Jets want to take Jimmy Garoppolo off the Niners' hands so the Niners can save $20 million, $20 million it would save with Sam Darnold. I'm cool with that. I don't think the Niners are going anywhere with Jimmy Garoppolo. You know I don't think anything of Jimmy Garoppolo. He could go. I would cut him and roll with Ryan Fitzpatrick next year. Because even with Jimmy Garoppolo, the Niners are the worst team in the NFC West with the worst quarterback in the NFC West, and he can't even stay healthy. He's behind the worst offensive line in the NFC West. So Jimmy for Darnold straight up? Sure. Probably just let Darnold walk at the end of the year anyway, and maybe get a comp pick. You know what I'm saying? You get something as opposed to nothing when you cut Jimmy Garoppolo. So, yeah, I would do that. Any team that's willing to take Jimmy Garoppolo's contract, I'm working with you. Do I have to take Darnold back in return? Fine. Fine. Okay. Whatever. Darnold, Rosen, they can have a quarterback competition. You can bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick too. Doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere with Jimmy Garoppolo in 2021. It's not going to happen. So if they want to give you Sam Darnold, I'm cool with that. But here's the thing. Do you think the Niners have the guts to trade Jimmy Garoppolo for Sam Darnold? I don't. And then on the flip side, do you think Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas have the guts to trade Sam Darnold for Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo is a hard sell as a starting quarterback to any fan base right now. It's like one of the most perceptive, highest regarded offensive minds in football didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo, gave up on him, traded him for peanuts, but he's our starting quarterback. Plus he can't stay healthy, but we really like him. Wouldn't it kind of look like Robert Saleh is taking the 49ers like leftovers? It would, right? It would look. I don't think either team can sell it, even though it's a trade they should make. Jimmy for Darnold straight up. But the first thing you do as the Jets head coach is bring in Kyle Shanahan's leftovers at quarterback. That's a tough one. Noah Johnson says, I would take a ham sandwich for Jimmy G at this point. Yeah, I'm saying like Sam Darnold's name rhymes with ham sandwich. So I think it evens out. Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold is basically the ham sandwich of quarterbacks. I would take him for Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no problem there. You see what I'm saying? Would also annoy the hoodie that the Jets have his protege. It would. I'm just saying I would do this trade, and if the Jets call up the Niners and say, can we make a deal? I'm like, yeah, man, you already know what's on the table. Jimmy, you want a 5th-round pick for Darnold? No. 6th? No. That 6th-round pick might turn into someone good. I mean, no. But we'll give you Jimmy. So I think that's fair. Something to think about. All right. Let's move on now to a really intriguing story. Apparently, the Seahawks are considering trading Russell Wilson. He went on the Dan Patrick show today and said that he was asked by Dan Patrick, are you on the trade block? Are you available? And he said, you'd have to ask the Seahawks. Apparently, the report is that teams have phoned the Seahawks to inquire about Russell Wilson's availability, and they have not necessarily been led to believe that he's totally off the table. Also, there's a report that Russell Wilson feels that he might want out because he's been sacked almost 400 times the last 9 years, and he wants some protection. All good points. He's never going to get protected in Seattle because he's making $37 million a year, and they just can't afford to get an offensive line. Their right tackle is basically a backup. I mean, it's worse. It's not worse than the Niners, but it's right there with the Niners. It's a terrible offensive line. So I think this is actually possible. I think the Seahawks are seriously considering trading Russell Wilson, as they should be. I tweeted this a month ago after they lost in the playoffs. They need to trade this guy because they have tried every possible formula with Wilson, making all this money to get back to the Super Bowl, and failed every year. Every year they lose in the first or second round of the playoffs because their offensive line isn't good enough. Period. Every year. And it's not going to get any better. So they should consider trading him. I said 2 years ago they should trade him for Kyler Murray when Kyler Murray was coming out of the draft. Maybe if they had Kyler Murray the last 2 years, the Seahawks would have won a Super Bowl. Because Kyler Murray is very similar to Russell Wilson, but he makes a lot less money. They didn't do that. Now they're considering trading Russell. What would be a suitable trade package for Russell Wilson? Well, he's a great player. To me, he could do everything Patrick Mahomes does if he were on the Chiefs. He's been held back by, mediocre coaches and mediocre coordinators. I'm not going to say anyone by name because today's a particular day. Anyway, Russell Wilson. What if they traded him right now to the Jaguars for the number 1 pick so they could take Trevor Lawrence? Is Trevor Lawrence as good as Russell Wilson? No, but he's way cheaper. Then if the Seahawks got Trevor Lawrence, they could afford to get like a starting caliber offensive line. That's the upside. Surround them with a good defense, they actually might be able to go further. The question is, would Jacksonville do that trade? I don't know if they would. If I were running that team, I wouldn't. I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence on the rookie deal than 32-year-old Russell Wilson, who's lost a step and makes all that money. But I'd think about it because here's the thing about Russell Wilson. He's another one of these quarterbacks that I've been mentioning all offseason who are in this class of highly paid guys who are too expensive for their current team, but would be manageable on a new team because the new team doesn't take the prorated bonus in the deal. I've been talking about it with Vish, Coach Johnson, everyone on my show. And we mentioned Matthew Stafford right off the bat. We mentioned Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. Never occurred to us Russell Wilson. Wow, the guy was right in front of us in the same division. He definitely qualifies, as we're seeing now. Let's look at Russell Wilson's contract. His cap number in 2021 is $32 million, way too high for Seattle. That's 17.6% of their cap. They couldn't win this year with him making 15.5%. It's too high. So yeah, they should trade him. The team that takes him doesn't have to worry about his prorated bonus, which is $13 million a season. So in 2021, on a new team, his cap number would be $19 million. $19 million. He'd be one of the more affordable quarterbacks in the league on a new team. In 2022, his cap number would be $24 million, which is reasonable for Russell Wilson. And in 2023, his cap number would be $26 million, which is still less than what Jimmy Garoppolo is making now. I would imagine any team that traded for him would probably extend the deal before 2023 and wouldn't have to pay him that $26 million cap number. So what you see is that he is a tradable asset. Teams should want this guy. He is better for other teams financially than for the Seahawks. So maybe they can't work it out with the Jags for Trevor Lawrence. But here's where it gets interesting. Could and should they trade him to the Jets for the number 2 pick? Right? Because Robert Saleh coached Russell Wilson. They have history. Pete Carroll doesn't want to work it out with Russell Wilson. Maybe Robert Saleh does. And the thing about getting Russell Wilson, it's a guaranteed 10 wins a year. So now Robert Saleh has job security. Maybe Pete Carroll, terrible drafter that he is, looks at the draft this year and says, you know what? Give me Justin Fields. I can win with Justin Fields. Good luck, Pete. I could see Pete doing that. I could see Pete trading Russell Wilson to the Jets and Robert Saleh for that number 2 pick and other stuff too. Maybe a first next year as well. Obviously a first next year. If Stafford went for 2 1s, then so would Russell Wilson. But I think that's kind of interesting. I'm trying to think of teams that could be interested in Russell Wilson. Jaguars, yup. Jets, yup. Texans, yup. Watson for Wilson. This is very interesting. How about the Packers? Could they do a Packers? Could they do a Rodgers for Wilson straight up? The Colts. The Colts are always interested in quarterbacks. They need a quarterback. The Panthers are in the market and they have an asset to give. You know where I'm going with this, right? You know where I'm going with this. I'm getting there. The Raiders. Yep. Okay, so let me do it. Let's do it. Should the 49ers trade for Russell Wilson? It's a serious question. It's a legit question. I just mentioned. Again, I'll do it again. His cap numbers on the Niners would be $19 million in 2021, $24 million in 2022, and $26 million in 2023. I would assume you would extend him before 2023 and bring that cap number down. But either way, he is cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo. So, if you were hot and heavy about Matthew Stafford, if you like the idea of Aaron Rodgers, you were into the idea of Matt Ryan, well, what about Russell Wilson? Would the Seahawks not do it? Would they not trade him inside their own division? Maybe not. Okay, maybe it won't happen. But I'm asking you guys, what would be the trade package the Niners could offer? What would be the most they could offer? Could you trade Bosa for Russell Wilson straight up? Could you do that? A first in Bosa for Russell Wilson, would you do that? The 12th pick in Bosa for Russell Wilson, would you do that? Think about it. I think it's a worthwhile conversation. I don't know exactly what I would do, what's too much, but the Niners need to be having this meeting right now. Russell Wilson's available. What is the most we should offer, and should we call up and make an offer? Yes, call him up. They should offer 2 firsts and Jimmy. Look, dude, look. Jimmy has no trade value. I'm sorry. I don't think Jimmy's part of this package here. If the Niners get Russell Wilson, they're probably cutting him. I don't think the Seahawks are that impressed with Jimmy Garoppolo. They see him. Bosa's not going anywhere. Don't even offer. They won't trade in their division. Not Bosa. No. Okay. Last Second Sports says 2 firsts, 2 seconds for Wilson. We have to overpay to keep him in division. Would you guys do 2 firsts and 2 seconds for Russell Wilson? A lot of you guys say you don't care about draft picks. He is cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo for the next 3 years for the Niners. I don't know exactly I don't know. 2 firsts and Armstead. They wouldn't trade him in the same division. Okay. Maybe they wouldn't. Seems to me that the problem with the Seahawks trading him to the Niners is there's no way for the Seahawks to get a quarterback to replace Russell Wilson. Even if you get the 12th pick that's not a replacement. You got Trey Lance at that point. Good luck. You get Nick Bosa, excellent player, not a quarterback. So it seems to me a better trade for the Seahawks is the Jets or the Jaguars. Get him the hell out of the NFC. Get the first or the second pick. Take Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. See what you can do. The Niners, while I think it would be interesting for the Niners and for Russell Wilson, I think Russell Wilson would want to come to the Niners. I just don't see why the Seahawks would want to do business with them. For the 12th pick, so they could play Russell Wilson twice a year? Probably not. But still, that's not the Niners' concern. They got to call. They got to pick up the phone and call. If you were interested in Matthew Stafford, you have to be interested in Russell Wilson. Just find out what the price is. Maybe Pete Carroll makes a big mistake, sends him in the same division. I don't know. You got to pick up the phone. The Dolphins. Yeah, that's another one. The Dolphins are another one. They could do it. 3-way trade with the Jets. Seahawks get Darnold. See, I think there's something. The Niners should be calling this up. This is a very interesting opportunity for the Niners. What's going on with Russell Wilson? This guy should be is he better than Deshaun Watson? I think so. I've never seen Russell Wilson go 4-12 in a season. What was the excuse for Deshaun Watson going 4-12? What was the excuse? His defense? He had a better defense than the Raiders had. I don't get I don't understand what Deshaun Watson. He's not as good as Russell Wilson. So people who are willing to trade 7 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, you don't want to give up 2 firsts for Wilson? 7 firsts for Watson, okay. 2 firsts for Wilson, not okay? I don't get that. Can someone explain that? Because he's younger? Watson because he's younger? I don't know. Russ has weapons. I mean, Watson had weapons. He never did anything in the playoffs on a rookie deal. He had DeAndre Hopkins. He never went to a Super Bowl. Wilson went to 2 Super Bowls on a rookie deal. I don't know. It seems to me that this is the conversation here. Russell Wilson. If he's changing teams, the Niners got to be in on that. Somehow. Find out what's going on there. He's great. He's the best quarterback, the best mobile quarterback since Steve Young. He should be a 49er. He's destined to play on the Niners. I love the idea of the Niners getting Russell Wilson. He's cheap for them. He's worth the draft picks. I think he would require future picks in a trade. I mean, fewer picks in a trade than Deshaun Watson. I like it. A first and Bosa for if the Seahawks would take a first and Bosa for Russell Wilson, I would do that. I would do it. I would do it. But then again, I would have traded Jimmy Garoppolo after 2017. You guys were like, no, don't do it. No, I like Jimmy. He's so good. Don't do it. Stop. It's my favorite quarterback. I was like, guys, you can get 3 first-round picks for Jimmy right now. What are you talking about? You're like, no, stop. I don't like it when you talk like that. Stop it. He's a good quarterback. That's what you sounded like. Remember that scene in Billy Madison where it's just he just passed the 3rd grade and he's just spraying that kid in the face with a water hose? That's what you were like. No, I don't even know you, mister. Leave me alone. Stop. I like Jimmy. I was like, hey, come on. Let's trade him. And you were like, no. So you like the whiny Kyle voice? When they trade for Sam Darnold, I don't even like Sam Darnold. Oh, why? How come I can't get the quarterback I want? It's not fair. Ugh, Sam Darnold. I hate Sam Darnold. Kyle Shanahan just never gets what he wants. It's not fair. It's my favorite. I'm sorry. Kyle, if you're watching, you don't really sound like that. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got that voice and why I attributed it to you. It's really more of my voice. It's really more things I have going on deep inside. Bosa to the Jets for number 2. I actually really like that. Hold on. The Brooklyn accent is way better. Thanks. Where is the Bosa for number 2 thing? I like that. I like this. Bosa to the Jets for number 2. I would do this move. If you get that number 2 pick, imagine the things you can do. Imagine the things. You don't have to use it. You could use it on Penei Sewell or whatever. You could trade down and get more picks, or you could trade it for Russell Wilson. You could trade it for Deshaun Watson. Oh, the things you could do with the number 2 pick. Yes, I would trade Nick Bosa for the number 2 pick. Look, is he better than I thought he would be? Yes. Is his value Is his value too high? Is his value higher than it should be right now? Yes. People consider him Lawrence Taylor, even though he has like 12 career sacks and 2 career torn ACLs. He's never going to live up to the value that people have on him. He's like Jimmy Garoppolo in 2017. He's going to be good, although Jimmy didn't end up being good. He's going to be good, but his value is going to slowly trickle down as people see more of him and realize he's merely excellent and not the greatest player of all time. So if he's worth the number 2 pick plus right now, ooh, yes, give me that. Let me get the number 2 pick, and now I'll make a serious run at Russell Wilson. I'll trade the number 2 pick, the number 12 pick, and a 3rd for Russell Wilson. And now the Niners will be the best team in the NFC West, not the worst team in the NFC West. I like that. I still think that Bosa is the key to the Niners getting a franchise quarterback. Excellent player, even better than they expected, not a franchise quarterback. If he could be the key, if he could be the catalyst to bring one in, what a service he will do for the Bay Area and San Francisco, Santa Clara. I'm telling you guys, stop being so emotional with these players. Yeah, Nick Bosa's great. So great, he's worth a lot in a trade. Got to consider it. It's business. I would take that. I would take that number 2 pick. You could get Russell Wilson. What a hero Nick Bosa would be. Nick, take one for the team, buddy. You don't even like California. You know you don't like California. Washington, way more conservative. You'll love it up there. All right, I can take some ultimate sacrifice. I'll take a couple questions if you got them. You don't have to pay or anything. Just drop them in the chat, and I'm gonna go for about 10 more minutes. But then I gotta go pick my dad up. That's why I went early today. He lives in LA. What you talking about? Well, that's different. Am I drunk? No, it's 9:24 in the morning, man. Come on, dog. How do things change if the cap limits what ends up above 175? It's going to be about 180, and that's still really low. It's still going to make a bunch of players change teams. Grant, is Darnold an upgrade over Jimmy? No, he's not an upgrade over Jimmy. Is he a downgrade from Jimmy? I wouldn't say that either. I mean, physically, he's a better athlete than Jimmy. He has one less torn ACL than Jimmy. He has that's not the equation, though. The reason I would do come on. The reason I would that made it worse. All right. That was good. The reason I would do this trade is because of the cap savings. I want the cap savings. I don't want to pay Jimmy Garoppolo $27 million a year. It's not worth it. It's like spending $27 million a year on an apartment when there's another apartment down the street for like $1,600 a month. Why would you pay? They're the same apartment, but you're spending $27 million a year. It's a one bedroom. You don't even have a gas stove. It's an electric stove. There's no dishwasher in the entire apartment. You're spending $27 million a year on it. Why? I don't get it. So, yeah, this one down the street isn't any better, but it's way cheaper. So now you can buy yourself a Ferrari and put it in the community parking lot where it can get dented and breathed on wrong. So that's it's nice. You see what I'm saying? It's about what you can. You're a total accumulation of assets, not just your apartment. That's the metaphor I'm using. So is Darnold an upgrade over Jimmy? Not really. But I think the team upgrades because now you don't have to choose between Jason Verrett or Trent Williams. You don't have to just let Jaquiski Tartt and Kyle Juszczyk go because you can't afford them. Like, they're important players. They're good. You probably want to keep them, all things considered. Jaquiski Tartt is a better strong safety than Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback. And Jaquiski Tartt gets hurt. Kyle Juszczyk is a much better fullback than Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback. Yeah. Grant, I think Russell's a better option because since his cap is lower, we can sign Trent and sign better free agents and draft other needs in the draft. Yeah. He's actually way more affordable for the Niners than Deshaun Watson would be. I think both in terms of the money you'd pay him and the picks you give up in the trade, the assets you give up in the trade to get him. I love this idea. He may end up being too expensive, and maybe the Seahawks just say no on principle because the Niners are their rival in their division. But I'd call up and be like, man, we got Bosa. Come on, man. I know you don't want to trade in the NFC West, but I know you're a defensive coach and you like the idea of having Nick Bosa on your team. Come on, I'll give you Bosa. That's a starting point. Can we talk? What if I trade Bosa to the Jets first and get the number 2 pick? Can I send you the number 2 pick? Can we talk? You got to get that number 2 pick from the Jets. You got to. Come on, Robert. You like Nick Bosa, right? You guys golf together. You called him Mike Tyson. Let me get that number 2 pick off you. Come on, man. You don't want that number. You don't know what to do with that number 2 pick. Come on. Let me use that number 2 pick, man. You're going to waste it. Take Bosa, man. He'll be great until I'm not going to say it. That's just not nice. All right. Could Darnold win a Super Bowl with the Niners? I mean, probably not. I don't know. He's 23. Let Darnold and Josh Rosen have a quarterback competition and see who wins. I don't know. But the problem is if you bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick for that quarterback competition, he's gonna win. Ryan Fitzpatrick gonna win that competition. He gonna lose that one. That's what he does. He beats out 23-year-old punks for breakfast. I don't want to predict someone's injury. It's just not a nice thing to do. So you know what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to put that in the cosmos. I wouldn't want people to put that on me. Don't you put that evil on me. Draft Mac Jones. No, Josh Rosen is better than him. Grant, what are the odds we do this QB conversation all over again next offseason? I hope so, because it is driving traffic right now. This is the best. I was like, man, how am I going to make money in the offseason? What are Niner fans going to want to talk about with no playoffs? Like, actually, this is way better. Last year, there was a 49er fan hangover. Like, I don't want to talk about it. Grant, I hate you for being right that the Niners are going to lose the Super Bowl. This year, it's like, okay. I'm back in the dice game. I've got $7 at my mom's purse. Who are we talking about today? Darnold? Give me something. I need stimulation. I love it. I want quarterback conversation the rest of my life. I love talking about mediocre teams who need quarterbacks. This is my calling. Oh, man, I never knew how good it could be. Covering really good teams, boring. What do you say? They're good. Oh, I guess they don't need that. Oh, they should. No, I guess they shouldn't. I guess they should just keep doing what they're doing. And I can't tell them what. That's no fun. It's not why I got in the industry. I want to tell these people what to do. They make millions of dollars. I don't. I'm the expert. 6-10. Oh, I'm in my wheelhouse, man. So, yeah, quarterback conversation. I hope this keeps going forever. I hope tomorrow, new quarterback on the table. Who could it be? Today's Russell Wilson. Tomorrow it could be, I don't know, Ryan Tannehill. How about that? Had a falling out. I don't know. Derek Carr. That's not exciting. Hold on. I sent a super chat if Rosen is going to take us to the Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm going to go in. Okay, look. No, I don't want to say it. Hold on. All I'm going to say is tomorrow for words. Tomorrow for the what are the words? Quality control. My quality control session tomorrow it's a follow-up from last week. Last week was just me and Kyle talking about Josh Rosen, watching Josh Rosen tape. It's going to be part 2. I got more Rosen tape to show. And this time it's going to be Rosen in college. Rosen against USC in 2017 compared to Zach Wilson against USC in 2019. This is not to dump on Zach Wilson. I like Zach Wilson. This is to put Josh Rosen into context. You think you like Zach Wilson? Well, maybe you like Josh Rosen too, Kyle. So we're going to watch them back to back. This afternoon, we're doing Jack Hammer and I are doing Kyle Trask against Bama. That's going to be a lot of fun. Last week, we did Kellen Mond against Bama. Next week, we're going to do Justin Fields against Bama. But tomorrow morning, Kyle Shanahan and I are going to be watching Rosen and Zach Wilson. And I am going to tell Kyle exactly what to do with Josh Rosen next year. So don't miss that. I don't want to get into it just yet. I got one more question, and then I'm going to go pick up my dad and take him in for the pre-op. Phase 2 of Get My Dad Off the Ground. Hey, Grant, what do you think of the Niners trade Jimmy and start Rosen? Rosen would have learned the playbook by the start of next season. All right, waivers. I was going to save it for tomorrow, and I'm going to tell Kyle, but this is a preview. Kyle, if you're out there and you're listening, if Jimmy's on the team next year, if you don't trade Jimmy or cut Jimmy and he's on this team in minicamp, training camp, I want you to have an open competition at quarterback, Kyle. I want an open competition. I don't want Jimmy getting all the first team reps. Why? He hasn't earned that. I want him and Josh Rosen to split the reps in training camp and to have an honest quarterback competition. You know why? Because Josh Rosen will win it. I've seen Jimmy Garoppolo in practice. He's not a good practice player. He used to be better in games. They called him a gamer, that he responded well to the bodies around him in the pocket. That's not true anymore. Now he plays in games like he plays in practices. So I want to see an open competition between Josh Rosen and Jimmy Garoppolo. Rosen might lose, and then maybe he'll come in and replace Jimmy Garoppolo week 9 after you know what happens. But Rosen might win it too, because he's more gifted than Jimmy Garoppolo physically. He's smarter than Jimmy Garoppolo. He's younger than Jimmy Garoppolo. And he's had fewer injuries. So if it's a legitimate one-on-one competition, equal reps, I think Rosen will win it. I'd like to see that. So I'm in favor of just getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo right now, cutting him, trading him for Sam Darnold. If he comes back because, the locker room likes him, some fans believe in him, fine. Make him earn the job. You missed 10 games last season, and you weren't good when you played. You need to compete. You don't get to just have all the first-round reps, all the first-team reps. No. You get to compete with Josh Rosen. And if you're any good, you should win that competition. But I have my doubts, Jimmy. So let's see what you got. For the first time in your career, fight for it. How are you going to do? Does it mean that much to you? Or are you going to look in your bank account, see $85 million and be like, you know what, Josh? Have at it. You got a whole lot more to prove in this game than I do. I already have $85 million. I already have torn ACL. Really bad ankle sprain. You know what, man? Go for it. I'd like to see what Jimmy Garoppolo is made of. He's never had to compete for anything, man. He was expecting the Patriots to just hand him the job and Tom Brady to move aside. Nah, life doesn't work that way, Jimmy. And then he came to the Niners and got paid off of 5 starts before he tore his ACL. Wow. So, yeah, make him compete. Make him fight for his job. I'd love to see him do it. I want an open competition in training camp. Kyle, and I'm gonna tell you this tomorrow, and we're gonna watch the film. I don't want to see all these reports. Kyle, little disappointed in Jimmy. Jimmy isn't as good as he wants, not making the progress. Well, then why is he taking all your first team reps? Why is he still on the team? Push him. What time are you going to be live today? All right, I'm going live with Jack, I believe 3 o'clock, maybe a little later if phase 2 of Get My Dad Off the Ground takes longer. I don't know how long it's going to take. So I'm going to go pick him up, literally and figuratively. And I'll be back this afternoon with Jack. Hang tight, guys. I will see you a little later. Thanks for watching, and I hope to be here with my dad next week. Take care.